Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Star Wars art panel. I'm Will Schick, Director of Product Development. I always forget what my title is. That's not supposed to be my job. That's supposed to be Simone Elliott, Head of Studio's job, who's joining us for this panel, and Preston Stone, our fearless art director for all of the Star Wars game lines. How are you folks doing today?
Great.
Good. How are you?
I am fan-flippin-tastic. We're here to talk about some sweet Star Wars art.
Yes. And I'm here, so maybe some spoilers.
Oh, is this the precedent that we're setting now? Is that when Simone shows up, the spoilers happen?
Yes.
I don't know. The marketing peeps in the chat on the last one were spoiling all kinds of things about pigeons. So to be fair,
did they spoil the pigeons? I missed that.
I didn't spoil the pigeons. Someone else spoiled the pigeons. Okay.
Avian agenda.
For those, yeah, the avian agenda continues to be my bane. But on topic, why don't you both kind of give an introduction? Like, why are you here on this Star Wars art panel? What do you do? I like saying do. It's fun. And just give us a rundown of what's going on.
Okay, so I'm Simone Elliott. I am the head of studio. But in my previous incarnation, I ran all of licensing for Asmodee North America. So all the Star Wars stuff went through me and my team. So all of these fine pieces I have seen and helped get all approved and cool stuff like that. And I talk a lot about Star Wars.
I'm Preston Stone. I'm the art director for all things Star Wars related at Atomic Mass, and previously I was at FFG working with X-Wing, Armada, Legion, so I've been doing it for a while.
So you can tell the difference between, let's say, a Minoc and an X-Wing?
No, probably not.
Well, there's a quiz later, so I guess, spoiler alert, you should do some Googling right now. If you hear some rapid key taps, you'll know.
Yeah.
Preston is phoning a friend called Google. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump over and start talking about some sweet art. I believe that we wanted to start with some Armada art. Am I correct with that? Or is that where we wanted to go?
Let's go.
Let me hold on. You're going too fast for me now. There's a huge stack of art, and I have to push the little eyeball buttons. All right. There we go. And you're going to tell me that I did the wrong one, but it's okay.
No,
I know it's Armada art. Because that's a sweet Nadiri Starhawk blowing up a Super Star Destroyer.
It sure is.
Yeah.
So, like, the Nadiri Starhawk, and I'm sure we'll later look at the Andrew Star Destroyer. Those were both ships that we concepted somewhat in-house. The Nadiri had a little bit more to go on. But really cool experience to be able to sort of like define all the details for a ship. And this is really unique because it's taking Star Destroyers and sort of cobbling them together into a different ship. So we need to figure out what that looked like. If you have seen the Mini, there's all sorts of like cool little doodads and stuff, like landing pads. We designed the tractor beam on the front, the extra thrusters that it has. So really cool experience. Dave Nash, one of our illustrators, helped do the concept, the sculpt digitally for us. So, and this beautiful piece of art is done by Matt Bradberry, who we'll see a lot of art of today.
Yeah. So when we figured out that we wanted to do the Nadiri, I'm not going to say it was a 64-bit piece of pixel art, but it probably wasn't much more of that from a Star Wars game. And basically like, here, you can make this. And if you don't know kind of the background of the Nadiri, the New Republic was like, oh no, we need to make a lot of ships. Like, we need big capital ships. And these are all old Star Destroyers and just things that they had salvaged and like stuck all together, which created this beautiful monstrosity that I so adore.
It is beautiful. And I'm assuming that most of the work you all did wound up going into when we see it in Squadrons, right?
No. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I know the Starhawk's in there as well. So.
Oh, is it?
It is. It is. It's a very central part to that game. Okay, let's go to the next one. Since I'm clearly the only starfighter pilot in the galaxy here.
You are. That's not my game.
Okay, so
Sheesh.
yeah, this is the Andre Star Destroyer. You know, I already said most of the story behind this, the development of it internally, but yeah, cool experience. Matt Bradbury knocking out the art here, just did an awesome job of taking. I think it was from one of the Star Wars, the background, the twin black holes, or yeah, I think that was from one of the fiction writing. But anyway, he did a great job of imagining that and making just an awesome scene for this. I often say that you know, ship art is basically just a really cool scene. You know, like that's really your money, and like putting the ship in an awesome space to help sell the epicness of it. Yeah, so he did great with
this one is gorgeous. Again, for this ship, this shows up in a in-world book called Rebels Files, and it's literally at like a pencil sketch at probably just about that same angle that we see in this art piece. And then they were like, this could be a whole ship. And we're like, but does it have other sides? Not important. Just make this. That's it. That's all I got for that. Yeah. That's all they gave us. So that's all I can give you.
And without that epic, I mean, it's no different than a side quest in any great adventure. They're like, do this. And you're like, I don't know what that means. They're like, just go do it. Yeah. And then you were rewarded with amazing art and an awesome miniature.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up on the list, we have a very fantastic Republic ship.
Yeah.
The Venator. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Venator. So, you know, again, like Matt Bradbury's doing all these covers just making them look awesome. You know, I don't have much to say about this other than we just wanted to show it off. It's gorgeous. So.
My fun fact is that it has 2 separate bridges, which I assume is what this like eye stalk situation is happening up there. That's it. No, it's a super cool piece. I believe this is the cover, Preston. Is that correct?
This is the cover. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I would say 2 different bridges. Smart idea. Maybe not putting them right next to each other though, because it seems like you're not hedging your bets too well.
They don't do the same thing. One is like I think starfighter control, and one is ship control. So you lose one, and then you can still have your tiny ships.
Okay. Well, you know, double duty then. Double duty. And of course, we have the antagonist, the flip side to the Venator, which is this very angry separatist ship right here.
The Invisible Hand. Fun fact about this one. The paint scheme, very complicated. This and the Separatist Star Destroyer, like, man, those things. We do the paint schemes internally, and I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to do those. It took a full week to just lay out all the paint. So I'm excited to see these minis in real life.
Yeah. So of course the Invisible Hand is Grievous's ship, and it was so exciting to kind of be able to bring him to Armada, considering like you don't really think about him, you know, flying around. But now I'm really wondering, why does he care that much what his ship looks like? All these robots spend a lot of time just really focusing on these really intricate paint schemes. But the Invisible Hand is awesome, and you have it here over Coruscant, so A+.
Any artwork with Coruscant, just A+. Like, it's always beautiful. I would, if given the option, would put everything over Coruscant.
I think that the next piece, if I'm remembering correctly, is an option where we didn't put something in space, and we can talk about how cool that is.
Yeah,
It's true. This Pelta is not over Coruscant. It's not even on Coruscant. It's on some kind of tree jungle planet. I'm assuming, I'm going to guess Kashyyyk, maybe, based on the foliage, but someone's going to tell me I'm wrong.
I think this was Kashyyyk. It's been a while since I worked on the artwork. Yeah, so illustrator for this one was Tony Devine. He did a few ships in this wave. Just excellent realism on this one. Did a great job with the atmosphere. Sort of fully realized the ship in this space. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice until we were doing the review before the panel today. Like you can't see it that well. I don't know how big your screens are. The reflection of the Pelta in that kind of like water beneath is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a fantastic job with the environment. He always does a good job. But.
Yeah, and it's always like, I know when the team sits down to write art briefs, it's always like, how can we get this not to be in space?
Yeah. That is
great, gorgeous space scenes, but occasionally you want like a cool jungle or something else.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Star Wars happens in amongst the stars, but you know, when you put everything on a black background with a few dots, it starts to get a little bit stale. So we try to find cool environments to put them in, atmosphere. It's really difficult to show movement in space sometimes. So when you put them in atmosphere, you can have these cool contrail effects. You know, we'll see a little bit later. There's a piece that's one of my personal favorites, but yeah, this is a really good example of a neat setting that helped ground this ship.
And it around it, you made a great pun. Then it's even harder, I think, when it comes to Armada, because it's so rare that you see something as big as an Armada ship actually somewhere that is not space.
Yeah.
So I was super happy kind of with how this one came out.
All right. So next up, we have the droid charged with painting a ship, but doing a terrible job at it.
Yeah.
It's a super battle droid.
Really?
Using a laser.
That's some bright paint.
Yeah, that's just...
He flipped the switch on his paint gun to laser gun, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. So Tony Devine again doing the illustration here. Yeah, an opportunity for us to depict a droid that I think it was only shown in the Clone Wars, and you know, in X-Wing, Armada, and Legion, one of our goals is to sort of translate everything from the like Clone Wars or Rebel style. Sometimes a lot of it's from the movies, but when it's not originally depicted in a realistic way, trying to figure out what that does look like in a more real way. That's one of our goals here, and I think Tony did a great job here.
For me, I love the idea that droids can just be like popping on the outside of ships, walking around with their magnet feet, and just doing things. Yeah. But now all I'm going to be thinking is, oh my God, those droids really are just painting the ships. Just imagine like you have to like clean them up all the time. Like,
it's just glow in the dark paint. Yeah.
It's like
a view of what's happening here.
It's like all those movies where the guy comes over to like do the windshield, you know, and you're like, no, please. And there's a real reason here, because it's just going to suck you into space, because he's really bad at his job. It's okay. It's okay, droid. We still love you. Speaking of droids being bad at their jobs, there are some droids who are not doing great. Listen,
they're doing as good as they can do, given the situation. Anakin's just crashing his ship right into him. Marius Gonzel did this illustration. This is kind of a cool art direction experience where I went back and forth with Marius. The original sketch didn't really they had the droids there, but not necessarily getting interacted with. And the ship was crashing, you know, had all the things that we asked for. But in thinking about it, I'm like, how can we increase the action? And just driving that ship through the B1s, getting that action to happen. This ended up being a really cool piece with a lot of action in it. So yeah.
So is Anakin crashing because this is the Delta 7B, so he can't see past R2?
You know,
how dare you steal my observation, Simone? I was told I wasn't allowed to bring that up, and then you stole it from me.
That's why you weren't allowed to bring it up.
This is just uncool. I was going to say, is it telling that Anakin is crashing yet another starfighter?
I mean, always.
Mhm.
That's clearly all he ever does is crash. And everyone's like, best star pilot in the galaxy. I'm like, did you ever see him land anything? I haven't. Okay, enough ragging on poor Anakin and his inability to push the landing gear down.
Yeah.
Let's go to this fancy fella.
Spider Boy, Admiral Trench. He's so cool. All right, so Guillaume Ducos did this illustration. He did an amazing job. We used him for Trench in Armada and in the RPG actually, but we initially had the idea of using him for Trench because we were using him for spiders, like giant spiders in other games that we were doing. And we were like, hey, you know, he'd probably be a good choice for Trench. And sure enough, yeah, he did an amazing job. Like the fur on this guy looks just great. Like, oh man, the textures.
It's so good. I can hear like the clickety clickety, like
Yeah. One of my favorite designs of a character. Yeah.
He is phenomenal. And yeah, that's just such a good depiction of him. And again, that's one of those situations where you have to take something that was animated and make it look real. And I think going the direction of someone who is literally illustrating other spiders for you is an awesome way to kind of because he could have looked so much more cartoony and instead of weird. Like, this is fantastic.
But how did the artist respond when you're like, but you have to draw a spider with fingers?
You know, he was excited about it actually. he was super down to do some Star Wars art. So
okay, well, I believe that brings us to the close of all of the Armada art we have to talk about. So let's shift gears a little bit and go to the ground. We'll prepare our troops for a surface attack, and we will talk about some Legion art. So the first one that I have up looks like a very sinister fellow who's probably not one you want to meet in an alleyway.
Yeah.
Along with his three little robot buddies.
Darth Maul, drawn by Crystal Soley, one of my artist friends. Crystal and I started doing illustration around the same time, like 2012, 2013. So she's such a big fan of Darth Maul. She has a Darth Maul tattoo on her shoulder. And when the chance came up to do a Darth Maul illustration, I was like, well, Crystal's the only person that could, you know, that I want to be doing Darth Maul. So yeah, she knocked this out of the park. This is a very cool looking Maul, cool angle of view, great way to frame a character. Yeah.
I am going to tell a little story that I had forgotten until this very moment about Preston and Maul, where we did a video about 2 years where we did a video about 2 years ago where we had Sam Witwer, who is the voice of Maul in animated series, and he came to our office and did a whole segment where he just bullied Preston into some art direction for a Maul piece. And it was an absolute delight to watch live in person, and then how it got cut down in the video. So that's what I think of now when I am ever going to associate you and Maul with that moment. How was that to be bullied into, you know, your art direction there?
I mean, it was fine. I recall telling him he was a terrible art director, and that made it into the cut. And so, yeah, Sam's a cool guy. I think we had fun doing that.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of cool guys and capes that literally don't work in reality but look amazing in art, we have the one and only Lando.
Yeah.
This was my insistence. I said I would do this panel if we could talk about this art.
I'm really happy that we can talk about this. Like normally we got to be pretty serious, pretty straightforward with the art that we depict, and this is just an opportunity to have some fun. The comedy in this is great. This is Borja Pindado did this illustration. There was no point in this art piece that I gave any input. That guy just ran with it. You know, he understood the scene, he understood the comedy, he understood the characters. It was great. So
yeah, there's always so much love in especially our Legion products for Battlefront. So to see Shriv just in there in the cape is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Is Shriv in the cape, or is Lando wearing Shriv's clothes? Because I feel like it's one or the other here. This is one of those optical illusions. Which angle you look at it, it could be either way.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but man, just that is such a great depiction of them, and you know, he needs help carrying that, or this could have been their surprise moment. Like he could have swiped the cape and be like, "Oh, surprise Shriv." We don't know what's happening. We don't know what their plan was.
I kind of feel like Shriv's plan was, I'm going to sneak into this Imperial base with this big old like cloak, and then Lando was like, I forgot my cape, and he pulls it off of Shriv, and then he's like, whoopsie, I guess we got to fight now.
The real star here is the cape, and it's
for sure.
Zero question. Okay, let's get a little spicier. And I believe that this will be the first time anyone has seen what I'm about to put up next.
So these are some Wookiees getting swinging down on a Persuader class tank. Did I say that right? Did I get the name right on that?
You did.
Great.
You nailed it.
Fantastic. Again, Borja showing some versatility in his artwork, and just finding the action again. Did a perfect job of imagining like how these vines are moving, how these Wookiees are coming down,
and how we're totally spoiling Persuader tanks and Wookiees.
You know, Persuader tanks and Wookiees. That's what Kashyyyk's all about, and a really cool wave. I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
Now, I know Wookiees live a long time. Is there any possibility that this Wookiee we see here might also be swinging down on, say, an ATST sometime in the future?
There's no way to tell.
There's no way to tell. Wow. Well, I guess we'll talk about pigeons, but we won't talk about Wookiees being dual faction. That's fine. All right. So this next one, very exciting. We're going to have a panel later tonight where Dallas and I are going to hobby hang and paint one up.
Yeah.
And it is the one and the only Yoda.
I'm so excited for the Yoda Mini, by the way. But illustration by Francisco Miara. He does such a good job of imagining what, like I was mentioning earlier, those characters that were in cartoon, or in this case was only a Leapy Yoda in CG. You know, bringing in a little bit of that puppet Yoda. Just he has a good sense of like what like a traditional painting realism feels like. I love Francisco's work. I want him on every single character piece that we do.
I love that this was an opportunity for us to see young Yoda.
Yeah.
And kind of leaping around. And I love this because how far up is he? Where did he come from? Like, what is he up to? He just looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Yoda come from has been a question that we've been asking for, I think, ever, honestly. Well, we'll keep on the Yoda train here. We'll go to this next piece.
Yeah. Another Francisco Miara piece, reimagining a scene from the Clone Wars, all the Jedi kind of meditating together. And if I remember right, we actually got the placement of all the characters correct in this scene. Really cool to watch Francisco work his magic with this. So
yeah, the likenesses on this one are amazing, and like even as far as like Mace and everyone, like they just, even though they're further back, they just look so perfect.
Yes. Yeah. He's just an awesome illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next, we come back around to Wookiees.
Yeah. So this is actually inside of the speeder truck, and there was a point when we were making art where we didn't know what the interior of the speeder truck was going to look like. We were like, well, let's give some reference of what it could reasonably have in it to the artists and let them do their thing. So we have a few pieces that sort of allow the artist to sort of imagine what's inside of this speeder truck. Really interesting to see the different takes on it. Cool scenes. This, and you could probably go to the next one too.
Oh, I mean, I was going to give it a little bit more. I want to know where his cloak is, but here we are.
I want to see Shrivel, right?
Yeah. I love the style on this one. Is delightful.
I should probably not skip over who illustrated both of those. The Wookiee was done by Quentin Gleam, and this one is Ignacio Bazan Lazcano. And Ignacio and Quentin both do a great job of imagining different styles in realism. Quentin does a good job of making things very painterly. And Ignacio just has this, he always handles structures and more biological, more organic things in a great way together. Imagines big scenes really well. Love these illustrators.
Mm-hmm.
I just appreciate that he got Shriv's sourpussness. Like, you can just tell he's not happy when he's driving. He's not happy when he's riding. He just doesn't want to be anywhere.
No, he wants to be in Lando's cape.
Who doesn't? It's probably so silky soft. Okay, I don't know what kind of fanfare you want for this one, but I'm told that this is the big one because it's at the end.
I'm excited.
And if ever you wanted a basket full of thermal detonators, this was your moment. This was your moment.
Okay, this is the best thing ever. Oh man, I have so much to talk about. All right, so first, Matt Bradberry doing an awesome illustration showing that he can do more than just ships. Handled this illustration awesome. Imagine this, the atmosphere around the Wookiee's fur blowing. It's just really fun to look at. The basket full of bombs. That was something that we concepted in-house. It hasn't existed before in Star Wars, but we wanted something where, like, can a Wookiee just drop grenades off of this cool ornithopter thing? And we had to work to design, like, what does this look like? What makes sense with the fluttercraft here? And that's what we came up with. Just like a quick, like, attach it, rope it on, and go. It made sense with the Kashyyyk feel and the Wookiees. Really cool to concept all this stuff, and awesome to watch. Not only the illustration happened, but the mini come into existence. For what's probably my favorite mini in Legion.
He just looks like he's having so much fun throwing those. Like, it's just full of joy.
Yes. Oh, he definitely. How could you not?
He's wearing his Fluttercraft goggles. He's got a basket full of bombs, like thermal detonators. He's just throwing them.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be having fun? Like, literally best time ever. Best time ever. And of course, more of this art's going to be coming out along with the Kashyyyk wave of stuff, which is where all this Wookiee art is coming from.
Yeah.
So that was super exciting. Seatbelts are for not Wookiees. Let's be honest. I don't think they can't make them clip. All right. Okay. So I think that takes us to the end of our Legion reveals and art. So let us move on to X-Wing. And our first piece looks like we have a fireball.
Yes, sir. Yeah, fireball flying through a crazy storm. Yeah, we have we had a lot of fun doing the resistance stuff. That was another opportunity. It's a totally different art style again, pulling it into realism, and that painterly sort of feel. Pierre Holmes did this illustration. He does a great job of sort of getting motion into brush strokes, into how he's painting everything. This is a pretty simple piece, but it captures what's going on, and captures the movement, captures just the hint of light in the background. It's a really cool atmospheric piece.
And we're going to follow that up with yet another piece of fireball art, but this one feels very, very different.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So Darren Tan, a lot of people know Darren, big fans of his work. And yeah, he's shown what he can do and make colors pop, and show some action. This was, if I remember right, maybe not interesting to all of you, but man, in art direction, initially that ring was sort of like off to the corner, and we moved that whole, like a series of rings into place just to show that action moving back to front. Yeah, fun piece.
Yeah, and in kind of talking about those rings, we made this art piece before the show came out, based off of kind of early stuff that Lucasfilm had given us. And we're like, are there more than one ring? Like, they just give you the ring, and you're like, it seems like it's sized for a ship. I don't think it's small enough for someone to grab it.
Yeah.
And then like figuring out like, okay, yes, we can have more than one. Yes, like what that distancing would be and all that. So it was delightful to kind of be able to have such a cool art piece and then see the show and be like, oh my God, that's exactly what it looked like. Nailed it on this.
Sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you know what you're doing.
Guessing in the dark. And
sometimes you have to fly your giant spaceship through a crazy red crystal cave.
Yeah. More Matt Bradbury art. He's just showing off what he can do in a sort of a landscape. You know, this was a piece done quite a while ago, but you know, if I remember correctly, we kept on like pulling in the crystals closer and closer to the ship, making things feel a little bit more claustrophobic. But yeah, he pulled off just this the sense of light coming through those crystals very well. Hard to do.
Yeah, that this piece absolutely captures like the tense atmosphere of that particular, like I believe that like that's from The Last Jedi, and like you were like swooping through all these and like bringing those crystals in real close just really gave you that claustrophobic, as you mentioned, feel, and the anxiety of, oh no, are they going to crash? That is what I feel when I look at this.
Yeah. Great job with the action.
Speaking of high energy, high octane Top Gunness, I am a big fan of this next piece.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
This is one of my all-time favorite X-Wing pieces. So this is Mace Windu's ship, the Delta 7B. I think it was over Celeste.
I believe so.
Yeah, and the reason I love this so much, by the way, illustration by Mark Molnar. He did a great job. He's done a ton of X-Wing ships for us. The reason I love this so much is he picked an angle that isn't typically chosen for a ship, and in this case, the Delta 7 and 7B, all the cool detail, they're sort of a flat triangle, so when you turn it on the top like that, you can see all the cool details of the ship. And putting it over the sort of volcanic environment, we got to I worked kind of back and forth with him to add those the contrails, and like he's flying through smoke. This just has a lot of energy and a lot of movement because of that. really, really cool color choices too. It's a little bit of a complementary color scheme, and it just makes this really one of the prettiest X-wing pieces in my opinion. So
yeah, it's a gorgeous piece. Like I don't like this makes me feel kind of like very Top Gun. That's not how I think of Mace Windu, but you know,
you gotta fly your ships. You gotta be awesome in your ships. They fly.
They fly. Or in Anakin's case, they crash. But
yes,
it's fine. It's fine.
You can fly or crash them. Both options valid.
Talking about lights and color choices and pure saturation, this piece just hurts your eyes to look at.
Darren
quite
Tan.
Fantastic.
Doing an A-wing some justice. Man, that guy can handle light. This is just again one of the all-time prettiest X-wing pieces, and you know I can't say enough good things about Darren Tan. I've gone into pieces of his just to analyze how he's painting things, how he's shading, like what he's doing, deconstructed his work. He's a master. He's just great. So.
And he is an absolute delight. We had him out. He joined us at Star Wars Celebration like 2 years ago, and just the number of people like lining up to like get art pieces signed by him, and just so awesome.
Yeah.
And I love. There's like I can just. It's one of those things like when I look at everyone's art, I'm like, oh, that's got to be Darren, and just he has such an amazing style, and I love it whenever we work with him. So when we were preparing for this fine panel, I was like, man, I should know who pilots this. It's Merle Cobbin. Literally all we know about him is his name is Merle Cobbin. He's one of those pilots that was probably pulled from the visual dictionary, and there's probably like one tiny fun fact about him, but here he is, Merle Cobbin.
This is his moment. This is his moment of glory. The golden sun.
Right now.
Time in the sun.
I've said his name like 3 times, and this is the most anyone has said Merle Cobbin in a round.
That's true. I mean, there's going to be a run on Merle Cobbin merchandise now. Like
this
everyone's going to go out.
This is the Merle Cobbin merchandise.
This is what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Merle! I agree. I like the idea that that's what his wingman's always screaming. Merle! Okay, enough for me. Next piece. A little darker, but still atmospheric and cool.
More awesome Darren Tan art. TIE fighters dropping out of a destroyer. Well, actually, sorry, not TIE fighters. TIE brutes. These ships were, if I remember right, only in Solo.
Correct.
And they're like really, really big TIEs with extra cannons. But not a lot of reference to go on to do this. And it was really impressive that he was able to make these ships. Honestly, him and all of the other artists that worked on the TIE route art did an amazing job, because what we had to go on was very few screenshots. So yeah, just super impressive work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost afraid to move on to this next piece because I already know what's coming, but here we go.
It's my baby.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Everybody's got one but me.
There's only 3 of them, and Gavin has 2, and I have 1.
Gavin holding out on everybody.
I know.
Love the Trident. I don't personally have anything to say about this artwork. I didn't direct it, but cool piece. Was this the cover for this?
It is the cover for the Trident. No, it's just a super cool piece. I'm just gonna cradle this fine squid boy in my arms. That's all I can say. Like, that's it. It's such a cool piece. This ship has been a dream to work on.
Yeah. Well, it's a super unique looking thing. You know, most of the X-wing stable of ships don't have like moving parts to them.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay, I've put my squid boy down.
You put your squid boy down. Okay, well, we have one more piece to show.
Are we sure?
I think we're showing it without comment though, right? There's no comments
You
on
can't
this next
stop me
piece?
if I comment, can you?
I can't. I'm asking the question because it's just going to depend on like. You might comment. Preston's like, I might comment. All right, well,
Preston should talk about the artistic nature of this piece and how proud he is of it.
Did Preston bring it in warm or cold? Is my only question.
It's coming in hot. Man, so Razor Crest. I mean, exciting to show it off. I'm excited that this is going to be in the game. This is a piece by Sergei Glushkov. He did. I mean, he's done all of the amazing art ever. Did the big epic ships expansion cover with just a billion ships hanging out. He does no wrong, and he did this justice, just showing off this like chrome ship in space. I mean, this is how you make space interesting. You know, he's bringing in color. He's like letting a light bounce off the ship and show off the shapes. So cool.
Yeah.
Important to note.
I have other commentary. What's important to note?
No, you do your commentary first.
No, I was saying I don't know if there's any more commentary.
Oh, there's no more commentary? There's one important piece of commentary, which is this is like a super exclusive, very early first look artwork, much easier to make than miniatures. So for those like losing their minds in the chat, you know, always show up to Mini-stravaganza panels. You never know what crazy stuff we might do. But you do have a little while to wait. So that's the trade-off. You get to see really cool stuff really early, but it's really early. So there might be a little bit longer of a wait time. But maybe tune into Mini-stravaganza too if you want to know more.
Oh, God, did we spoil there's a Mini-stravaganza too?
I just did. You know, everyone else is spoiling things. It's my turn. It's my turn.
Got it.
All right, and I believe that takes us to the very end of our beautiful artwork.
It does.
Before we close out our wonderful stream, do we have any more thoughts, musings, ponderments?
How did I get through a whole stream and not request any Hondo Anaka art, which is really a failing on my part?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to do better next time.
All right. Well, thank you so much both for your insights and your time on this panel. I hope everyone out there who was watching through Twitch had a great time. All of the images, I think, are going to get posted up through our social media from John and BK and all that good stuff. So if you missed something and you want to see it again, you're going to get the chance. Of course, you can always rewatch it on our YouTube channel along with everything from Mini-stravaganza. Stay tuned. Next up, we have... What's next? Oh, my gosh, I forgot. It is a solid foundation featuring the one, the only John Schaefer at his Fresh Coats painting hobby stream, where he's going to be going over just some good fundamentals for basing your miniatures. And then after that, we will be back painting Yoda. That's right, the one and only Yoda who's coming to Legion. We're going to be putting paint on that. So if you want an exclusive first look at the miniature for that character coming to Legion, stay tuned. That's going to be at 7 p.m. following the Solid Foundation stream. So again, thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.